All right, Wednesday the 15th. We're on lower body. We have two parts. 5, 6, or 7 rounds, bear marches, straight leg deadlifts, swings, goblet squats. And then part 2 is pulsing squats for reps. Okay, bear marches. So I don't know if we've done this one recently. I think we've done it before. So in your bear stance, in, out, 1, in, out, 2, in, out, 3. Straight leg deadlifts. Swings. So we talked about swings already. And we talked about goblets before, so we won't have to go over those too much. It's just your weighted squat. And then for part 2, our pulsing squats for reps. Can be any fashion that you want. It could be sumo, regular, or narrow, but you're just going to, so 50 to 100. So you're just gonna get down and pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 50 or 100. Okay, so part 1, bear marches. So you'll notice there's 20 of them. So this is one of those exercises where it starts off usually not that bad. So if we were only doing like 10 or 12, you'd probably be like, oh, and I originally had the number lower, and then when I did it, I was like, we gotta up the number because you wanna be able to feel the burn. So instead of being in a high plank position that looks like this, you're gonna be in a bear stance, which looks like this, okay? So in the bear stance, you're tucking your knees and you're up on your toes, but your butt is up. It's not down here. Your butt is still up in the air, okay? That's your bear stance. So what you're gonna do is you're going to step in with your right, in with your left, out, and that equals 1 rep, okay? So I start here and then I step in, out, 1, in, out, 2, in, out, 3. So the thing is, it's gonna burn your quads. So the front of your thighs is where you should feel it. Because anytime that you go up like this, but you're in a plank, it's gonna put the weight on the front of your leg. So as you march, not only are you working your legs, but you're also working your core because of all the movement underneath your body. So that's actually a really good one. But like I said, you're gonna feel the burn as you get up there. So if you legs are already sore, depending on how you did your workouts before this workout, and you're like dying, then you can cut back the number. But for me, I basically would get toward 20 and I would feel it would start burning. So that's a good thing. If it's burning the entire time and you're dying, you can lower the number. Straight leg deadlifts. So I honestly can't remember if we talked about actual straight leg deadlifts or if I was referring to them because we were talking about swings, but swings and straight leg deadlifts, and obviously we have swings as our next exercise. It's all hand in hand. It's all very, very similar motion because it's a hinge motion. So again, if you missed it, what the hinge motion is knees are slightly bent, your butt and your hips are gonna move backward, and in turn, your back is gonna fold down, okay? So this is your swing and deadlift position, and then you just stand up. Okay, so your butt doesn't go toward the ground, it goes to the wall behind you. You should feel it, almost feeling like it's splitting your hamstrings. Mine are just always so tight, so it literally feels like it's being filleted open. And my knees are bent, obviously. My back is staying straight. So I'm not hunching down where my back is round. I'm just letting my back naturally fall as I naturally move my butt back. That's just, that is the hinge motion. That is why it's a hinge. Because when this moves, so does my upper body, okay? So that is really all you're doing when you're doing a straight leg deadlift or a swing, okay? It's very, very similar motions. So your straight leg deadlift, if you have a kettlebell, that's great. If you don't, you're gonna hold one in each hand. You're gonna hold them against your thighs and you're gonna push your butt back. Your back is gonna fold. You're gonna let the dumbbells kind of just glide down your legs. When you hit a point where your back is straight, your butt, or I should say your hamstrings are really pulling, you're gonna go ahead and stand up. butt to the wall, slow lower, keep your back straight, feel that pull, stand up. So for me, it is always about mid-shin where I then stand up, okay? So you don't care about going to the ground. You don't wanna reach down because that's gonna make you round your back. You just want everything to naturally fall. It's all following your hips, okay? Your hips are what start it and everything else follows. So this is what starts the hinge and then everything falls into place once your hips start to move backward, okay? So if you are finding that you're not doing this correctly or you find that you're squatting, it's because you're missing the very first step of pushing your hips back instead of down, okay? And then swings is the same exact thing. You're either gonna hold 1 or 2 dumbbells in the middle, okay? So deadlift, it was kind of off to the side, it was going down the front of our legs. Your swing, it's gonna be in the middle. So the same exact motion. I'm gonna come here, except my weight and my arms are gonna swing back in between my legs. And then when I stand up, they're just gonna naturally pop up with the motion of me popping up, okay? So again, your arms are almost like a vessel that's just following the motion of what everything else is doing. So your swing is gonna look like this. Okay, so I'm not really putting all that much effort into what my arms are doing, okay? They're holding the weight and they're moving, but I'm not going out of my way to move my arms. My arms are moving because once I bring them back, gravity happens and it's gotta come forward, okay? So if I'm holding it here and I stop holding and let go, they're gonna swing. So with the motion of my upper body also, that's what's gonna propel your weight. You're not, a lot of people will squat and then like really try to use their arms. Now you're just squatting and like doing a front raise, okay? You don't need to do that. The hinge motion will place everything else in motion, okay? And lastly, we have goblet squats, which we've already also talked about. That is your weighted squat where you hold the weight by the top in front of your chest. You can do this to full sit. You can do it tap and go, and you also do not have to use weight at all. Pulsing squat, again, you can pick the style. You can do narrow, which is feet close together, regular, which is about shoulder width, or you can do sumo, wide stance, toes pointed outward, and you're just gonna get down and then bounce. So your pulse is just the bouncing. So you're gonna bounce 50 to 100 times, okay? And I wouldn't recommend switching it up. Whatever one you start with, I would stay with, because the point of doing something for reps is always fatigue. So if you start with narrow and then you switch and then you switch to sumo, you never fully fatigued any of those styles because you switched it. So whatever you start with is what you want to end with. And the point is to be tired at the end. And that is your Wednesday the 15th.